It's 2023 and I'm at my school's swimming carnival looking around for my friends when all of a sudden a teacher yells out to me, "Ivor, looking for your friends?" So I reply, "Yeah," hoping that yes, he knows where they are. But instead he replies something that makes my heart sink. He says, "You're not going to find your friends. You want to know why?" And then he laughs to himself for a little bit and he says, "No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it." And I'm about 90% sure I know what he would have said. Not just my insecurity, like I genuinely think this to this day. He would have said, "You're not going to find your friends because you don't have any." And I knew instantly what he was going to say because I knew deep down that it was true. It's actually quite easy to check if someone has friends. You can just look at their DMs, that's easy. If you can't do that, you can look at their calendar. You can see how often do they actually go out. Sometimes you need to look at how they hang around their friends. When they're with their friends, is it like they're part of a well-oiled machine that's like moving and alive and doing things where each part has a role? Or are they kind of a loose cog that's getting dragged along, kind of unnecessary to the machine? This teacher could see that I was a loose cog. He could see that I was an octopus, looking up at the schools of fish swimming by with all their friends, sitting alone on the ocean floor. He could see when he had me in sport class on Wednesday afternoons, which I picked because I didn't know what my friend group was picking for their sport. I had to just pick without getting matched with them because they didn't tell me what they were doing. So he could see me sitting by myself in this sport class, chatting with people, but not really having anyone close. He could see me at lunchtime talking to my friend groups when he was on duty. He could see that I was sitting with them in proximity, but I wasn't talking that much. I'm saying like just a couple sentences every now and then. He could see all the way back to my first class I had with him in grade 8, where I wanted to sit with a group of friends, but couldn't because their table was full. He wasn't the only one who saw Ivor, the loose cog. Everyone else did. He was just the only one who said it. And this was in grade 12 as well, when I was supposed to be improved. I'd been at the school for 6 years. You'd think after 6 years you'd be able to make some friends. You see, it was always my goal since grade 7, or my dream, I guess you could say, that by grade 12 I would be popular and I would have friends. I had this goal because it was how it went in primary school. At the start, I was pretty good. I still had friends, but I kind of got better and better every year until in grade 6 I kind of peaked. Socially, I think my life is socially peaking right now, but before that it peaked in grade 6. So then when I went to year 7 and I lost all my primary school friends, or most of them, and I was at my new school, didn't have any new friends, I thought that I was just back down. So up and up and up in primary school, back down. I thought, it's the same thing. It's just I'm going to go back up and up and up again. By grade 12, I'll be back where I was, if not further ahead. And that's because I'll be comfortable with all these people now at my school. I'll know them well. We'll all know each other. We'll get along well. But that dream didn't turn out to go well because at the end of grade 12, I actually had less friends than I did at the start of grade 7, because at the start of grade 7, I still had a couple left over from primary school at that point. So that comment by that teacher just reminded me of my failure to achieve that dream. And it got me thinking about where I went wrong. Was it a single point where I messed up? Or was it a series of slow mistakes, not putting in enough effort over the whole 6 years of high school? Which is what I thought it was. And I thought back to grade 7 when I first joined, and I cared so much about popularity. I just wanted to be in the most popular group, so I went and sat with them. But I didn't have anything in common with them, so I didn't really talk to them. At this stage, I was pretty confident. I did have terrible conversational skills, but I was kind of confident. But because I couldn't talk to these people, first of all, they just tolerated me, but then they started to bully me. And as the bullying went on, my confidence went down. Eventually, I left that friend group. At the end of grade 8, changed to a different one, which was basically even worse. I got bullied worse. I stayed there until the end of grade 10, when, as some of you guys may know, I got kicked out. And that's when the bullying stopped. I joined a new group where I didn't get bullied, and I had more in common with them, but still not enough. My conversational skills had improved a little bit, but I still didn't quite have enough in common with this friend group to actually make friends with them. So I started to, after joining this friend group, I started to have a bit more luck with, getting invited to parties, talking to girls, all that stuff. But it still wasn't good. I didn't have any friends. And I didn't realize that I didn't have enough in common with my friend group until grade 12. And by then, I thought, it's too late for me. I'm just going to stay here because I'm comfortable. So in some ways, I improved a lot from grade 7 to grade 12. But in some ways, I stayed the same because really, I got more confident. I had some more luck with talking to people and having better conversations. I talked to people more frequently, but really, I had no friends. So I still didn't talk much at lunch. I was still the quiet kid, and it hurt. All this progress wasn't enough. I felt like even if I kept making progress, I would always just be a quiet kid. I would always struggle with making friends. Maybe I would make some. Maybe I'd even get lucky and find a wife one day, but it would never be easy. It would never be, I would never be like those extroverts that just can talk to anyone. I'd never be like the popular kids. I'd never even be like everyone else in my friend group. I'd always just be a little bit weird socially. But now I do have friends. I've had more kind of social events in the last month than I did in all of high school. You can see my DMs from just like 6 months ago, or a bit more than that now. 10 months ago to now, there's a huge difference. I'm not saying this stuff to flex, I'm saying it to show that imagine that my trajectory throughout high school continued to present day. This is now, how long is it after high school? A bit over 2 years since high school. I'm above that trajectory. So I've done better than I expected, basically. How have I done that? Guys, it took so long. You think that your trajectory of making friends is going to be like this, like it's going to take this long, but it takes this long. It's so much longer than you think it's going to be. And that's kind of just one of the things you have to accept. There is good news though, because the curve is not a linear trajectory. So going from kind of bad socially to having a great social life is not linear. It's exponential. Exponential is a curve. It's flat at first, and then it gets fast. The reason it's exponential is because as you start off, you can't talk to people very well. And that means you don't have very frequent and very long conversations with people. But as you get better, you start to have longer conversations more frequently, which means because you're getting more practice, you're actually improving faster. And also, once you make your first friend, that friend introduces you to other people. And people are more likely to want to be friends with someone who has at least one friend rather than someone who has no friends, if they find out, which they probably will. So as soon as you overcome these kind of thresholds, your progress just shoots up. So you may be improving like I was in high school. You may be getting better at conversations, getting more confident, building a better repertoire of social cues that you understand. I don't know what repertoire means. I hope I've used it right there. But you're not seeing any progress with the amount of friends you're making or how many girls you're talking to and everything, or boys or whatever. And it's tough, but remember that it is exponential and the outcomes lag behind the progress. And as you get better outcomes, you'll get even better progress. It'll accelerate. But as someone who is now accelerating, it takes such a long time. It takes longer than you think. And it doesn't come just naturally from not putting in effort. You have to actually try really hard to practice this stuff. And how do you do that? You have to want it really badly. It's tough. It's like being a fat person your whole life. You can change it, sure. It's not who you are. Like being quiet and being bad socially is not at all who you are. People change, and when they change, that new person is still them. So imagine like you've been obese your whole life. It's very possible to then get lean and jacked, but it's not going to be easy. It's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to be hard for you in particular, if that makes sense. But you can do it, and other people have done it. You might not hear from them, but they do. One thing that will keep you going though, as you're making this hard progress, is remembering that you're actually making more progress than you think, because again, the curve is exponential. You just have to stay consistent. You have to keep pushing through that flat bit so that you can get to here. If you keep giving up, you'll stay on the flat bit forever, and you'll never see the improvement that you want. You'll never have an amazing social life. You'll never have good connections, which are really make life so much better, make you less lonely, just make life more full. And bro, you know what to do. I don't need to tell you exactly how to improve your social skills. You know what areas you're lacking. So all you have to do is practice. Sure, like watching YouTube videos on how to have better conversations does help, but you also just need to practice. And it's tough because you don't know what to improve, you don't know how to do it, but you know the process. The process is you go out and socialize as much as you can. I've been going out like 8 days a week, 8 social events a week. Some of that is just my athletics training, which I guess you could say doesn't really count. Most of it is just, stuff that doesn't really count, but still, 8 times a week, I'm getting opportunities to basically chat with people. 2 times a week, I'm doing things where I'm meeting new people. So I'm basically practicing talking to people I've never met before. All of this stuff helps you improve. And the more you do it, the more you do the hard stuff as well that you don't want to do, the faster you'll get better. I also did stuff like last year, I just would DM a couple people from my high school and be like, hey, do you want to hang out? That was so scary to me. I have a deep fear of getting rejected. So asking people to hang out that I haven't talked to in years was scary. But that was one of the things that improved me a lot. There's higher leverage things that will improve you more, and they're often the things that are the scariest. So you can think of things that are scary for you. You know what you need to do. Just do one of them. You don't have to do all of it right now, but just do one. Keep that curve going so that you can get to the acceleration bit. You got this, bro. I'll see you soon.